Good day, and welcome to another episode of Liquid Health News. I am your host, Jefferson Nutt. This episode is sponsored by Solve.Care and by Biotoxin Foundation. We have just more incredible news to share with you. And every week that goes by, it seems like we have or find more issues with our environment. And it seems like as much as we try to do, it is never enough. Why should you listen to me, perhaps? Why me out of all people? Well, I'll share with you a little bit about my own experience. I was exposed to mold for 2 years. I have a variety of health effects. I have constant tinnitus day and night that goes into my ears, both ears. It never ends. I have constant pain all throughout my body, and that never ends. No matter what I try to do, I go see doctors, I go see lawyers, it just doesn't end. I was reflecting on this a little bit this past week when I read about an article about this painter. He painted this $500,000 painting that was up in a gallery. And this couple came in to the gallery. And keep in mind, this is, a very high-end gallery and a high-end place and that sort of thing. And there were actually some paint buckets right by the wall. And these couples thought it was like a participatory thing. You may have seen these in a variety of places where you can do your own doodles or drawings or say, hey, hello, from wherever. And so this couple painted on this $500,000 drawing. And initially the artist was mad and said, keep in mind, I'm looking at this painting and I can't tell what's been damaged. It's one of those paintings that are like, expressionism. Like, how can you even tell what was damaged, right? Initially, the artist was mad and he wanted it restored. And he eventually backed down. But I was thinking about that. I was thinking like, when we get exposed to toxins, when we get exposed to things like mold, when we get exposed to things like PFAS, when we get exposed to arsenic, these things go all throughout our bodies. And very much like those expressionist paintings, it causes damage all throughout the bodies. And it does it very, very quickly. It's not like just a little bit of damage here and a little bit of damage here, and then, no, it's like you're being dipped in a vat of just pain, and you're coming out dripping with all these problems. And the best tools that we have today, the best that we have is just these tiny little toothpicks, and we can kind of etch away at the problems. Things like B12 supplements, certain medications. Each of these things etch away at the problems. And that's the best, that's like state of the art today. There is nothing better than what I just told you. There is no gift you in a vat of happiness and you come out and you're good. That doesn't exist today. Maybe someday, maybe with your help and the help of tens of thousands of others, maybe someday we can find tools and technologies and processes that we can use to remedy these issues in a rapid manner befitting our intelligence even. But no, at the moment, we have these Orange County businessmen that for 3 years was dumping tens of thousands of gallons of toxins into the water supply of Southern California. So the next time you go to California, or if you are in California, you turn on your tap water, you got to wonder if that water is coming out with a little bit of the toxin that this guy just dumped. Now, here's the thing. I'm aware of other trials and imprisonments for things that are far less severe, things that have not affected the lives of thousands of people. People get charged with these crimes and they go to federal prison for 30 to life over things that don't affect hardly anybody. And this guy, maximum 8 years. 8 years. That's it. For polluting an entire city. The maximum sentence for causing harm to an entire city is 8 years. And that's like one of the ones we can actually go after, Kraft Foods, on the other hand, they're being sued because there's toxins in the macaroni and cheese. So next time you see that 49-cent box of not sure what, there's toxins in it. It says it's macaroni and cheese, but and it had that little thing, hey, we're supporting our schools, the taste kids love, and get asthma and obesity from it. And if that's not bad enough, the manufacturers of baby foods are putting lead and arsenic in it. Those are forever chemicals, by the way. Forever chemicals are the ones that when you eat it, it's there for life. And we have no way to get rid of it. And the FDA is like, we'd like to limit that. And you know what the manufacturers are saying? It's like, no, don't limit us. Makes you wonder whose side they're really on. Our side? Swear to God, they had these UFO videos that came out last week, and I wonder if these baby food manufacturers are, aliens, maybe, because if they were human, they would care. And that's why I'm very happy that these Ohio legislators are getting together to try to put together an indoor mold program. You know, some way to try to figure out this whole thing about mold and whether or not it's really bad. Now, keep in mind, there are three things that can be really bad for humans. Viruses, we know all about that thanks to COVID. Bacteria, yeah, well, we kind of sort of know about it. I mean, we do have a lot of hand washing to try to get rid of bacteria and stuff like that. But for some randomly odd reason, even though mold has killed an unknown quantity of people, we can't seem to agree that mold is the problem. The Republicans in the state of Ohio are actively fighting against this program. So if you're in Ohio, call your legislators and say this is needed now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. We need it now. Now. Because the sooner we can understand more about this, the better off we will all be, and the better of a chance that we may have of surviving this calamity, absolute calamity. I mean, I read as much as I can bear to read about how people are coping with these, you know, different types of mold and other toxin environments. You know, people ask, you know, if these other people are good, or how to get into an environment that is away from mold. And I got to say, it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult. People have had liver problems. People have had thyroid problems. People have had their gallbladders removed. And these are the lucky ones. So, what can I offer? The best advice that I can offer is make sure you have clean air, clean food, and clean water as much as you can. And I get that it's extraordinarily difficult to have this, but you know, as much as you can, clean air, clean food, and clean water. It's the most that we can do at the moment. All right. What do we mean by clean air? Well, if you have an air quality monitor, and on one of these upcoming shows, I'll show you how an air quality monitor can tell you more about your air, at least a little bit more than what you may know about today. And you can get an air filter. There's some out there for $200-300 that are decent. I wouldn't spend more than $200-300 on one. There are $1,000 ones, not that much better. Whole home air purification systems can be really good and effective, and even antiviral. But even outside of that, box fan with a filter, $40, and you got cleaner air than what you had before. And that's the air. Clean water could be a little bit harder, but at the very least, you know, they have these Brita water filters that are pretty good. You know, they'll clean up the water, pour it through 2-3 times, and it'll be cleaner at least. If you can get an under sink water filter, those go for about a year, 18 months. Those are pretty good. Cost you $30 a month for an unlimited amount of clean water. Make sure that it's the reverse osmosis one. That's the one that really cleans. You know, you don't need to worry about salting the water. I mean, yeah, I get the salt thing, but that's not a critical component. The critical component is filtering out the impurities, filtering out the heavy metals, and reverse osmosis. If you know the science behind it, ain't nothing but clean water. Try not to buy bottled water in stores, because actually, oddly enough, a lot of those bottled waters are bad, especially like Fiji water. They're one of the worst. And a lot of the other ones have heavy metals and all kinds of crap in it. They've not been filtered. Literally comes out of the ground, goes in a bottle, and they give it to you. That's it. God knows what's in it. Really. When's the last time you got an inspection report on bottled water? Yeah. We get inspection reports more on our food than we get on our water. And on the food, just do what you can. It's really, really difficult to determine what's clean food in today's world, especially when you got, you know, these people going nuts on the FDA, trying to decrease how much oversight we have on our food. It's like, of all things, no, you want to increase the oversight, not decrease. As if we don't have enough problems. There it is. Within the immediate environment, try to keep it as clean as possible. Inspect your house at least once a year for mold. If you can't get up and behind the walls, hire somebody, a maintenance guy, to go up into the crawl spaces or whatever and get behind the walls. If you're living in a place where you can't see behind the walls, well, we're trying. I know some people that are working on some sensing technologies that'll help. If you can find somebody with one of those infrared cameras, go around and look behind the walls with the infrared cameras. Mold glows because it's living. You see glowing blobs and with the infrared camera? Yep, you guessed it. As far as toxins, again, do what you can. A lot of them out there. And I hope you join us. Because at Biotoxin Foundation, we're going to do everything in our power to make this world safer for all of us and for our children. This has been an incredible journey today. And I hope you can join us. Thank you. I'm your host, Jefferson Nutt. Be well.